Hello, true believers. Welcome to my channel, Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave, and today I have 5 more undervalued comic books for us to take a look at. So, you guys know what this channel is about. We're getting ahead of head of the game, right? We're getting ahead of the rumors. We're getting these hot books before they show up on a top 10 list, before they're considered a hot book. Right? We've done that with lots and lots of books that have really paid off for us over the last year and a half, specking on this channel. We're going to keep going, right? Hopefully, you find some value in these videos, whether it's like you just like your personal collection to, increase in value. If you like to make Instagram posts showing off that you have the hot book, or, if you're trying to flip books, if you're taking these on eBay and, trying to flip them and, parlay some money into, getting a bigger key that you've been wanting for a while. Whatever your reasons are, I hope these videos help you. Thanks for watching all the time. That's enough ranting for me. Let's get into our 5 comic books. All right, so the first one I'm going to bring up, and it is from 2016. Okay, and it is Champions, volume number 2, number 1, which has the first appearance of this set of champions. Right, so in this one we have a lot of these young characters that are getting really hot, and this is their first team appearance all together. So there's Ms. Marvel, there's Miles Morales, there's Amadeus Cho Hulk, there's Sam Alexander Nova in there, there's Vi Vision, who is, the Vision's child, and young Cyclops, who comes through like a time warp when he was a boy and he comes into, Earth 616, and he ends up becoming, a teenager Cyclops in the Champions. So we've seen quite a few of these characters already in the MCU, or linking somehow in streaming shows. Ms. Marvel has her own streaming show. Amadeus Cho, of course, is like a people's favorite. Everybody's going nuts for his first appearance as the Hulk. Sam Alexander's been spec'd on a lot. This channel spec'd on him over a year ago, right? So this book, I think, has potential in that they're going to take these young characters. Are they going to form the Young Avengers? Are they going to form Champions, right? Are they going to be able to bring a guy like Miles Morales into the MCU? Yeah, live action Miles Morales would be really, really cool. That's for sure. So I think this book, you can find this book easily for cover price or less. This is a variant cover. There's a ton of variant covers for this book. Some really rare ones, 1 in 1,000 variant out there. This one, I think it was a retailer's incentive variant. You got the retailer got it if they ordered enough of a different book. Yeah, I paid cover price. Oh, there we go. So I paid $6 for that one because it's a variant cover. So maybe I paid the extra buck for the variant, but that's only a buck over the cover price back in 2016, 4 years ago. I think it's still a good pick. You can find the regular A cover for cover price or less easily. So around that $5 range again. And if they do form some sort of champions team, I wouldn't see them in a movie. Perhaps they have some sort of allusion to them in a streaming show, maybe even have some sort of offset streaming show that shows something other than the Young Avengers. I think Champions is a good pick. Probably never going to be like a $100 comic, but it could definitely increase off of its $5 bottom here. And yeah, so from 2016, look to pay around $5, or cover price or less, depending what variant copy you want to buy. There are some expensive variants out there, but for this cover or cover A, pay around $5 to $10 max, and like $10. Wow, that would be too much, I think. Anyway, so that was the first one on our list. Our second one on our list, we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back to the Silver Age. I love pulling up Silver Age undervalued books. And I found this guy, and this guy's a little rough. I'm gonna go find a better copy for myself. But this is from 1968, and it is Marvel Superheroes number 14. Dun, dun, dun. So this has, well, one, it's the first solo Spider-Man story outside of Amazing Spider-Man, right? Outside of his own comic book at that time. He'd been in team-ups before, but it was his first solo story. And but more importantly, it reprints a story in here from a comic book called Red Raven number 1. There was only one issue of it. It was Jack Kirby's first artwork on Marvel Comics, and in that story was a story about Mercury. And that character Mercury was retconned into an Eternal, and it is a Marakara, right? Or Marakari? Who knows how to pronounce those Jack Kirby words? Anyway, um, uh, that character is definitely in the Eternals. It's been cast. It's going to be retconned into a female character. Lauren Ridloff is playing it, and you watch The Walking Dead, you might remember her as the deaf girl in The Walking Dead. So she's a great actress. I actually really like it. Um, but yeah, so in this book is the first time that that Mercury story from Red Raven Comics #1, which came out in 1940, is reprinted. So if you've got $10,000 and you want to go buy a decent copy of Red Raven #1 from 1940, that's, I think, a little bit out of our price range here. However, if you want to get the first time it's reprinted, which I think is a good idea since the new Eternal movies is coming out whenever it gets a chance. Apparently it's all done, it's just waiting for a good time for release. Um, you can get this book somewhere in the, a much nicer copy than this. This was a $5 copy, but you can get much nicer copies than this for around $20 to $30. And, being the first time it gets reprinted off an issue that's quite expensive, right? Like it's from 1940. Red Raven #1 is from 1940. And it does represent a big key for Jack Kirby because it is his first artwork at Marvel at Red Raven #1. So this is the first time that story was reprinted here in 1968 in this book. And with the Eternals coming up, I think that the closest that most of us are going to get to having Mercury's first appearance is, or Makari, I hate those words, is going to be here as the reprint from Red Raven #1. It's a story about Jack Kirby's story about Mercury. So number 3 on the list, we have from 1978, and it's The Amazing Spider-Man #184, and that has the first appearance of this character, White Tiger. All right, so this is a Shang-Chi spec, right? White Tiger is a gang leader, one of the Asian gang leaders in Chinatown. And he's gang leader of what's called the Dragon Lords. And there has been some rumors about the plot around the Shang-Chi movie, and that the Ten Rings have something to do with all these different gangs that are around, not just the Mandarin and stuff. So I think getting like some of the gang members' first appearances that might show up is a good idea. And this is, like I said, this is a pretty nice example of this book. And where can we find this book? You're going to probably look for around $15 for a decent copy, a very fine copy of this one. Like I said, it's from 1978. I know I paid $15 for this one. I have seen it being listed for crazy prices. Sometimes Amazing Spider-Man books go for crazy prices. And, if it's been really, really super nice condition, $60, $70. But it could very well be an appearance of a character that's going to show up in a new movie. And like I've been, and as long as we go through this drought, this Marvel drought, this DC drought at the movie theater and stuff, the more people are just going to jump when they hear a rumor, right? So, the rumor is that, the Ten Rings will have something to do with Asian gangs and, back and forth between China and, Chinatowns in different parts of America and stuff. And all linked together, possibly in some kind of tournament, right? Maybe all these gang leaders are going to come in and fight in this tournament, and White Dragon could very well be one of those characters. So for around $15, $20, perhaps for a really, really nice copy, you're going to push above 50, and yeah, it's not bad. So from 1978, it is The Amazing Spider-Man #184. First appearance of White Dragon. All right, so we've all heard the big rumor that happened between last video and this video, and that's the rumor about Kang the Conqueror, right? So a few of those books around Kang shot up. This channel spec'd on this book, right? Fantastic Four 19, which was way back when I spec'd on this. Gosh, long time ago, well over a year ago that we spec'd on this. You could have bought this book back then for 30-40 bucks, I think is what we were spec'ing on it for around. Decent mid-grade copies. Of course, this one took a jump with the rumor of Kang being in the next, one of the big bad guys, and in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. But there are other Kang keys and appearances around, and one of the kind of storyline around Kang is something called the Celestial Madonna, and that one just kept ringing out for me in the last little bit. And it really does like link a lot with Kang and time jumping and Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers and all this stuff. Link. In the first book in that sort of Celestial Madonna saga, well, there's like a cameo first in Avengers 128, but the really first get going of the story is here in Avengers number 129. And I love that Kang cover. That's a fantastic Kang cover. Right? So we have Kang on there, all the Avengers, and the Celestial Madonna story basically links Kang the Conqueror is traveling through time to try and find who is the Celestial Madonna, because she will birth the most powerful being in the universe, right? And he wants to be that being's father, right? So he wants to, hook up with the Celestial Madonna, whoever that is, they don't know yet. And the story starts rolling where the Avengers are trying to stop him, and this book and this book I'm kind of specking together as our fourth pick here, and they are both from 1974. Okay, and this story continues in here, and this is where it really gets rolling. And this book is still kind of cheap out there, and so is this book. This is like a near mid copy that I picked up for $15 at a flea market, right? So you can find that one, and I'm pretty sure I paid less than that. I probably talked them down a little bit. I usually buy things in lots, right? So you get a little more wiggle room with guys to talk them down. But yeah, so that's where the Celestial Madonna story starts here in 1978, but it really gets rolling here in this one. And this one's an important book because it flies under the radar a lot. It's probably going to pick up steam because of Kang the Conqueror, and this is such an important story of Kang the Conqueror. The Celestial Madonna ends up being Mantis, who's a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And the Avengers are involved, and the Fantastic Four is involved, and all these different characters are involved, and they're going back and forth in time, and Iron Man this, and Nathaniel Richards, and Rama Tut, and then all of a sudden it's Kang the Conqueror. So anyways, this is the story where Kang the Conqueror got retconned into being Rama Tut, right? So here's Rama Tut's first appearance. There he is on the cover there, along these little Kang statues, along with Kang the Conqueror, right? And so Rama Tut was Kang, went back in time, slept for a while, came up to this point in order to stop himself from getting a hold of the Celestial Madonna. The other person that they were thinking could possibly be the Celestial Madonna was Nebula. There was all kinds of links there with like I said, with the Guardians, and with now with the Avengers, and all kinds of crazy stuff that's going on. So I think that, do I think they'll do the Celestial Madonna storyline? I don't know. It's one of the best, Kang the Conqueror storylines in the whole biz. They may take parts of it, they may take none of it. You know what I mean? But you can still find this giant size Avengers anywhere from $5 for mid-grade copies to $25 for really nice copies. It was all the way back from 1974, so we're looking at 46 years old for this book now. It is a square bound book. Careful watching the spine crush, right? Watch that the entire spine isn't all crushed, even though the cover looks nice. And they might be asking too much money because the cover presents nice, but that spine crushed is a big no-no when it comes to square bound books, right? I like to store square bound books in a golden age bag with a silver age backing board, just to give it a little extra. That taper here in our comic book bag, when it tapers down to the bottom, it pinches down on that giant, or on those square bound book bottoms, and that's why you'll always see them taper down to a point, because somebody stuffed them into their comic book regular comic bag with a backing board and left it there for years and years until it squished down right to the bottom of the bag and into that little point. Anyway, that's just a little collecting tip. This book, like I said, it's from 1974. This book is also from 1974. I paid, like I said, less than $15 Canadian for this one. Definitely less than $15 Canadian for this one, which puts it around, I would pay anywhere from the $10 to $20 mark for decent copies of either one of these books. And again, the Celestial Madonna story, even if it doesn't ever turn out to be something involved with a movie, it is a great story to read as well. Anyway, so from 1974, Avengers number 129 and giant size Avengers number 2. Look to pay about $20 for each of those ones. So pick number 5, last book on our list. So let's go back to an Amazing Spider-Man pick. This one is from 2010, and it is The Amazing Spider-Man number 637. All right, so this book has a couple of really great things going for it. One, we've all heard the Madam Web rumor. Her first appearance is in Amazing Spider-Man 210. We spec'd on that book a long time ago. Hopefully you grabbed up a few copies like I did since then, because that book has seen a big spike. But this has the first appearance of the second Madam Web in it, and a character named Juliana Carpenter, who is Spider-Woman, then became Spider-Girl, becomes Madam Web here in this one. And she hands over the mantle of Spider-Girl to a really hot character right now, and that is, wrote her name down, ARAñA, right? Or Anya Corazon. Corazon. Sorry. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. I'm terrible, especially with Spanish. Anyway, you all know who I'm talking about. Her first appearance is spiked up like crazy. That was Amazing Amazing Fantasy, the second series, number 1, which was her first appearance. And this book has the first time that she becomes Spider-Girl, right? This is where Juliana Carpenter hands over the mantle. ARAñA suddenly becomes Spider-Girl, right? She takes on the mantle of Spider-Girl, and Miles Morales approaches her, and she goes on with all the adventures and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people specking hard on her first appearance, but this is a book that's going way under the radar, not very many people looking at it. And yeah, this is the first time that she becomes Spider-Girl. The first time we see the second Madam Web, which could also happen in any kind of property, right? They may not want to keep the old lady Madam Web. They may want to have a younger version Madam Web that, whatever they're going to do with that writing kind of stuff. So I think this is a good pick, because you can get this still for cover price. And since it's from 2010, still lots of really nice mint copies out there. I grabbed this one out of the racks, my LCS, for cover price. Even though it was a 2010 book, even though this one's the variant cover. So I think if that kind of storyline happens, and when more people realize that this is the first appearance of ARAñA as Spider-Girl, I'm just going to call her that, then yeah, I think that this book could become quite a bit hotter than what we're seeing now. Because yeah, like pay $5 to $10, $10 on the maximum side at this point, but it's going to get, they're going to get hot. I think this one's a good pick for our audience here today. All right, so I appreciate you watching me for this long, listening to me rant on about all the different books. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. I always like to have subscribers. And yeah, thanks for watching again. Just remember, Wednesdays are New Comic Book Day, but every day is Old Comic Book Day. This has been Mr. Miracle Comics. My name is Dave. I'll see you next video.